Shigaon, the Haveri district of North Karnataka. She completed her engineering from the BVB College of Engineering, obtaining the first rank across all branches and also received a gold medal from the Institute of Engineers. She subsequently did her Masters of Engineering from the Indian Institute of Sciences with distinction and started a career as an engineer with Telco, now Tata Motors. Today, she is the chairperson of Infosys Foundation and has handled 16 national disasters over the last 24 years. She studied in the Kannada medium school till 10th standard, and that's where she fell in love with the language. Her strong ties to the language and people led her to establish more than 60,000 libraries in Karnataka. She also strongly believes in creating awareness for social causes and has traveled the world for the same. A prolific writer in English and Kannada, her books have been translated into multiple languages and have sold over 3 million copies across the country. She's a columnist in English and Kannada dailies with 30 books and over 200 titles to her credit. She's received 9 honorary doctorates. Some of the awards that she has won include the R.K. Narayan Award for Literature, the Padma Shri in 2006, the Atimabe Award from the Government of Karnataka for Excellence in Kannada Literature in 2011, the Lifetime Achievement Award, and the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Award for Excellence in 2020. She lives by the belief that generosity of a few is the hope for millions. Once again, welcome to this edition, Mrs. Murty. Genuinely a delight to have you here.
Namaste.
You broke several barriers and glass ceilings as a professional in the world back in the day when you became the first woman engineer to work with India's largest auto manufacturer at that point of time. You continue to do that in your chosen field even today. As you reflect on your journey, what is your advice for women, especially those in the early part of their careers?
I want to tell all women, have courage. People are so scared what others will think. Suppose I do what my neighbors will think, what the society will think. As long as your work is legally, ethically right, and the genuine cause, then have courage and go ahead. That's why I always believe in it. And I have done all these things believing that what I'm doing is legally, ethically right, and it is good for myself and good for the nation or the society. I have done that way.
Continuing on the theme of reflections, given the diverse work that you have done, you've also seen women evolve across the decades. What attributes of theirs have changed across the decades? What have not, when you look back and see?
I joined engineering college in 1968 and I was the only girl in the university in my class. When I go back to my engineering college now, I can see 30%, 40%, sometimes in 10%, depending on which college, we have girls. Women have changed. When I joined engineering college, people laughed at me, made fun of me, and more than me, my father. They said this girl does not have brain. But look at her father, he's old enough to understand a girl should not go to engineering college, and he's sending it. Today, parents pay donation and send their girls to engineering college. Now, literacy rate has increased and number of children in each family have been reduced. Parents accept when the children say, I want to be a pilot, I want to be a scientist. So that much we have opened up. Our society has opened up for the new challenges. So I feel there is a lot more opportunities without adding any stigma to that I could see in the last 50 years.
Mrs. Murty, you've also worked with women across rural and urban settings. And when you look at how they approach life, are there any differences in these two groups?
I consider women in rural area probably react or live probably in a real life with a lot more courage and a lot more acceptance than cribbing and complaining. I've seen women, in a lower state of the society, in the lowest job, but still acceptance of the reality and working hard for that and enjoying whatever little they have. That attitude I've seen. More than that, what I have seen in rural area is number one, they make their own decisions and they have more confidence in that. When women make their own decisions in life, it may be small or big, and have confidence in themselves that they can do better.
I began this segment by reminding our audience about Infosys turning 40. And we owe that to the investment that you made 40 years ago. I know there's a lot that has been spoken about how that investment has spiraled this and made this such an iconic organization. But I have a very different question for you. The question is, as an investor, and given the market those days, as a lady, what was your thinking at that point of time? What was your rationale around making this investment?
Love for my husband, I think. That's the one answer, direct answer. When I got married, my mother told me, look, you are working, your husband is working. But I want to tell you something. When you are starting your own family, always have some money, save some money without your husband's knowledge, because men normally are spendthrift. And in my case, Mr. Murthy was more spendthrift than most people. So she said, keep some money aside, and that should not be used for any other purpose other than emergency. This should not to buy a house, to buy a sari or a gold or anything. A medical emergency or some emergency, then you should use it. And I went on saving 200, 500 rupees. And by the time Murthy started, came and told about his dreams to start his own company. Initially, I said, why? We have both of us have a good job. We have a daughter. Why you want to start? Because I come from a very conservative middle class family, where in our families, either you are a doctor or you are a clerk in a bank or an officer in a post or you are a school teacher, regular salaried job. So I was worried about starting a new company, because one of my cousins started his own adventure and he became a bankrupt. So I said, Murthy, we don't have anything to watch in a bank in case the company doesn't take off. Then Murthy explained to me what is software. Of course, I knew, but because I'm very fond of history, he explained to me historically. He said, when there was the industrial revolution in the West, we did not get the benefit of that because we were colonized people, and British got benefit of that. Now we have come to a stage where we can be legally, ethically earn money, and there is the software. And if this is a software revolution, and in case you want to work hard and be honest, you can earn money. And this is the only chance we have, and I want to start. Well, I was not knowing that we will grow that big, but only thing I realized, my husband is very sincere and is not asking money to drink or to while away or to make, spend money on other things. He's asking money to start a company. Company may not take off or may take off. I do not know about his future. So the best way is believe in him, because I told Murthy, I know you are a very hardworking person. You know the subject. And I believe in you. You have a dream. He said, if you don't help, the dream will not come through. I said, okay, in that case, I will help you out. So out of 10,250, I gave him 10,000. And because I'm also an idealist, I know it is a huge money in those days. But still, I gave that money, assuming that my husband has a dream and I'm helping for that dream. Not that I will earn a lot of money out of this 10,000. I wrote off the 10,000, I will not get it back. I'm extremely bad in investment as well as in economics. But this is the first time and the last time I invested with 10,000, which gave me $1 billion at the end, or a lot more money. So what I'm telling you is, number one, I have faith in my husband. I loved him so much that he will do something and I should help him. Third thing is, I'm an idealist. I felt, okay, let us do that. It doesn't matter. In case we fail, so what? We can come back, he will, and we'll take up a job. So that kind of my adventurous nature and idealist mindset probably helped, I suppose.
After looking at your reflections, I want to move to some of the challenges that women still face in today's world. Do you believe that women are unfairly reminded of this need for balancing both work and home much more than men are? And if yes, what do we need to do as society and as people in supporting them to change that?
I agree for this point, because as long as they are in school, they are in college, they are probably excel in education. They are much more sincere, probably much more patience. They are better managers. The moment a lady becomes a mother, the whole equation in her life changes. The priority becomes the child. And when the priority is child, then her work balance, home, office, it is hard. It becomes difficult. And that is the reason that many women leave their job after they become mothers. Many people, have that guilty feeling, look, I'm working, I'm neglecting. They feel. Some people feel job is very important because of their financial commitment. So they are divided into two parts and they suffer a lot. The best way to compensate that, number one, men in their life, they should help them out. If it is household work, they should say, look, my mother never used to cook. Now you should work in the office, come back and cook. No, I will also cook one day. I will also look after the child on Saturday, Sunday, this Saturday, Sunday. I will share the household responsibility. That's very, very important for a woman, mentally and physically. Behind every successful woman, there is an understanding man.
So when you look at how the workplace challenges have evolved, what do you think are some of the more important ones that we should help women in solving today? When you reflect on what you have done in your career, any of them that stand out for you?
What I want to advise women who are working and young mothers, number one, if possible, take a house near to your in-laws or your parents, provided they agree to look after your children. Okay. After a certain age, in my case, when my children were 7, 8 years old, my parents shifted downstairs and I went upstairs. It was a great boon to me. Second thing is, when children are young, they require your help, and you may have to do a little bit of sacrifice and adjustment. But remember, many women leave their job and afterwards they come back, they feel very sad because they have lost their positions. That you should accept it. Suppose you take 2-3 years off in a computer industry. When you come back, your colleagues must have, by this time, would have been managers, and you may have to report to them. Please accept it if it is there, because you have enjoyed 3 years with your children, and that is something which you won't get it back in your life. So you have to make a compromise when you come back, and later you can always do work harder and get a better position. Many times you may lose financially, you may lose your career at times, but you can make it up. Okay, but you have enjoyed their company, you have bonded well with your children, and that's the reason children language is known as the mother tongue, because you are imparting your culture, and it's the mother who imparts culture, imparts language, imparts a kind of a devotion, her devotion to her children. So if in order to get that, you have to give something else, and it is the individual decision. It is left to you what you want to give.
Do you believe that women themselves hold responsibilities? And I will come to what men can do shortly, but women themselves can do a lot more to support fellow women in their development. What do you think are some of the unique things that other women can do? And when you look at how you help and enable a lot of other women leaders, what are some of the unique practices that you'd like to share?
I always tell when I address women group, look, you have difficulties. Other people also have difficulties. So make a group of, like, if you are a mother, your child is going to school in second standard, find out in your group who is the other mother. So please help yourselves, make a group, self-help group, kind of a help group, and use that one, because you can share your responsibility and you can accept somebody else's responsibility, like a play day, overnight stay. Please participate in that. You should be open enough to talk to your other female colleagues. And please remember, when you make a group, there are always difficulties. There is always non-compatibility of the nature, but you have to learn to accept it.
We spoke about the women, and sometime earlier you had the wonderful statement that you said, behind the successful women, there is an understanding man. What else have you seen men do to participate effectively in the success and support of on the development of women? Are there other things that we can do?
Traditionally, India is a male-dominating society over these so many thousands of years. Most common thing I have noticed, that most men do not take their wife's success as success. Okay, they get really upset. I've seen that one. Second thing, if a wife is a working woman, then men may have to make some changes. They should not expect, they should have trust on their working women, their wives. I've seen in BPO many boys or many husbands used to crib, my wife has a night shift. I said, so what? So what? If you have a night shift, your wife doesn't suspect. The moment your wife has a night shift, why you should crib? Don't make a separate rule for a man and a woman when she is bringing equal amount of money. Third point is the in-laws have to change their attitude, because in our society, men are more important because they do the work, they bring money to the table, money to the house. When women are bringing, in-laws have to make adjustment, saying that my daughter-in-law is working, when she comes back, I will treat her the way I treat my son. Oh, son is tired, he should take rest. Yes, my daughter-in-law is tired, she should take rest. Do not expect your daughter-in-law to be a perfect housewife as well as a perfect working woman. After all, she's a human.
Let me ask you, when you look at your own individual development, and there's so much that is happening in the world, what do you do daily or otherwise to boost your own knowledge and skills?
Well, I'm really very, very busy, very, very busy because of the foundation work and Corona, then my writing. So I don't think any negative at all. And even in Corona time, I never thought any negative because I felt it, this too shall pass. I always believe this too shall pass. And whenever I feel negative or down, I always look at the people on the street. They don't have these things, what I have. Look at the people who are so hardworking, but still they are not achieved. So I should thank the God. Look at the people, who can't even make both ends meet, and why I should crib. So I always look at the people who do not have, and I get energized. Then I always look at poor people. They are my source of inspiration because I was born in a middle class family, a daughter of a professor and a doctor, a granddaughter of a school teacher. When God chose me and gave this kind of a job and money, there is a reason why He chose me. So I feel it's my duty to help poorest of the poor. And when I help, I feel nice to myself, not to get an award or reward or photo. No, I enjoy doing that. I always think positive, help people. It makes me more energized. Think positive, act positive.
I want to really use that as a segue into the more of a rapid fire kind of segment
No problem.
with personal insights. So, Mrs. Murty, what according to you is the most underrated leadership skill?
Lead by example, I believe in that. Lead by example, not talking by example, not giving lectures. Lead by example is underrated because children at home, if you are a parent, children observe you. It is not Sudha Murthy or Narayan Murthy they observe. So how you behave, children take. In an organization, you have to always lead by example. As a leader, I should protect my team. And my team's betterment is more important than myself. If that means keep your team always happy, as long as legally, ethically it is right. So lead by example is underrated. I feel many people don't even realize.
Given that you have such a diverse set of responsibilities, such a hectic schedule, what's the one must-have time management principle or one must-have time management habit that you would tell others to look into or have?
When people come to meet me, everybody wants to talk to me an hour. I want to talk as much as I want, because why they have come, what is the reason, and can I help it? The moment it is over, it may take 5 to 7 minutes. People who don't get up. But I tell them, thank you very much for visiting me. I have a next visitor. And if possible, I will do. And I follow what I talk, but I will not spend a single minute more, because what they think is not important, I give importance to time, and I will not waste it unnecessarily. It's like a gold to me. I don't waste it. So I don't waste time. If my whole intention is over, I move to the next one. And second thing, I don't postpone things. Whatever is done, even though it's 40, 50, 60 small jobs, big jobs, I will finish everything as if there is no tomorrow. I finish it and go.
Let me move to the next one. This is more of a fill in the blanks question, Mrs. Murty. You deal with disappointment by, and if you were to fill in the blanks.
I deal disappointments with, so what? I have lost the battle, but I'll win the war. Resilience is so important.
The last one, if you were to distill all your life's learning into one absolute success mantra, if you will, that you wish to share with other women, and say, there's one thing you want to take away from this, from my life, it would be.
This is done by our ancestors 4,000 years ago. Paropakaram idam shariram. Life is meant to help others, not to enjoy yourself. You should enjoy it. I don't say, in my case, helping others is a joy. Not to spend money on yourself, but to help others who are in difficulty, and that is called dharma.
What a wonderful note to finish on. Mrs. Murty, thank you very much for more than making your time, the candor and the simplicity with which you distill all the messages. It is